Welcome back to Scale Auto Guys Workbench. Today we're working on a kit that I just recently picked up at Walmart. They just started getting their round 2 kits in, and this one I haven't gotten one of these in my collection, and I've been looking forward to getting one and building it. It's the 71 Charger. I love the box art. That's pretty nice, and I also like that color. I'm not sold on both of those yet, but here we go. This is a 2024 edition of the kit. It's got 112 parts, and you can see the breakdown there. Let's take a look at the parts and what came in the box. Body. It looks pretty good. There's no flash on it. It's got a molded in headliner, which is kind of cool. Most kits don't have those, and this one does, so it's going to be nice to detail that. I don't see like any flash on the body at all, but where those little indentations and things are, they are kind of showing through a little bit. I can feel a little dimple here and a little bump right there, so that's going to show up, unfortunately. And we all know the fiasco I had the last time I had to fill in a dimple. Anyway, I don't see any swirl marks in the plastic, which makes it nice. That plastic is kind of thin. I don't know if you can see that through the camera or not. Maybe. Alright. Well, there's the body. There's some mold lines that need to be taken care of, and that's to be expected. Next up is your chassis, well, partial chassis. Your interior tub builds up on this, so it's got built-in floor mats and a carpet-type texture. Everything is built up on it, so you separate exhaust system and everything. Separate front suspension. That cradle. I don't usually have good luck with those. Sometimes they, I get it all together and that cradle will snap free. I really dislike it. Speaking of the cradle, there it is. This time around, I'm going to glue this to the chassis before any paint's applied. And that's maybe where I've been messing up. I don't know. Comes with the AC lines. Next tree is your exhaust system and rear axle. That looks like it might be a shifter, but it could be a... I don't know. Oh no, that's part of your steering linkage. Okay. I don't know why I wasn't seeing this. I was just seeing this for whatever reason. Here's your door panels and your rear seat, rear springs. Got a little bit of flash to clean up there. That's normal. So far, this is looking pretty good. Here's your engine. Now this comes with a 426 Hemi. I didn't see any other options, so 426 Hemi is the only option you get. Some of your body panels, the lower fascia, with a chin spoiler and your rear deck spoiler. Oh no, that's your rear deck spoiler. I'm sorry. That's your rear roll pan. Yeah, looks pretty nice. Like those exhaust tips. Next up is your hood and your lower control arms and etc., etc. Shocks. That hood looks kind of thin. I don't know. It could just be me. Looks kind of thin. That's all right. Last parts tree is your front seats, heater hoses. Next up is your chrome parts tree. It only gives you the stock wheels. It doesn't give you any other options for that. I thought it would look pretty good with like some torque thrust wheels or maybe some Krager Super Sports. but these will do. Next up is your glass parts, your taillights and your windows, etc., etc. Next up is your 4 pad printed tires. These have got the Firestone wide ovals. Next up is your decal sheet. They only come with black stripes. So I guess if you paint it black, well, you don't have any stripes. I don't know. I imagine you could probably order these stripes in white from some retailer online that does decals. Otherwise, you're stuck with the black, unfortunately. And last but not least, certainly not least, is the instruction sheet. Big pictures for us folks that wear glasses and have a tough time seeing things. Looks like it's pretty straightforward. All right. Well, can't wait to get started on this one, so let's get some sub-assemblies done, and we'll get some primer thrown on it over at the paint booth. I'm not sure about the color yet. I'll have to look into that, and I like the orange. I like that purple, and I also like the, what do they call that color? Is that green go? I think that was green go. Don't remember the exact name of that greenish color. I think it's green go, but I can't be certain. Anyway, let's get started on this. Alright fellas, I'm just skipping along getting stuff done here. Got a little ahead, and that's fine. I just finished up the engine. The the glue hasn't even set yet, but there it is. So that 426 Hemi is all set to go into the car. I did get the chassis painted, and you saw that I got the body and everything painted. I almost messed up. I went to paint the firewall, and I almost painted it flat black, but then I pushed the can across it very lightly, and I went, wait a second, that's supposed to be body color. And I stopped just in time. I didn't get any black on it, just a little bit of a misty spray on the bottom side here, but then I went ahead and painted it the body color. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to bump the camera there. So I have all of these parts out here. Everything's been painted. We just need to get it put together, and hopefully that won't take very long. And I still have to do clear coat on the body. That's turned out pretty well. I've noticed imperfections, a lot of imperfections in this body after the fact. I wish I would have seen them prior to, but there's a little bump right here in the center of the roof line. The hood's got little indentations, one right here, one right here. And that's from the cross members in the bottom side. And this bump here is from that little hole right there for the rear view mirror. So whatever they put in there to make that hole has created a bump on the roof line. I did get a little bit of something in the paint right there I'm going to have to sand out. Other than that, the paint job turned out pretty well. This is just a flat paint, it's not a metallic. I may go ahead and do a coat of like a mica pearl or something like that over it, just to give it a little bit of a metallic look. I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to do that. I kind of like the color just the way it is, so I may just leave it like that. Alright, next up now we're going to start on the suspension parts. And this is where it gets fun, because I've never really had a lot of luck with doing this kind of construction where you have a separate frame from the chassis. Usually, well, I've had kind of bad luck with them. I glue this part onto the chassis, and it doesn't take long. It separates, or it will bow, or something stupid like that. So I'm going to have to, I don't normally like to use super glue, but I'm thinking about this may be the perfect time for it. Unfortunately, I have no more super glue on hand. All of the super glue I did have at one point in time has all dried up. So you're going to have to come up with something. So this is where we are, and yeah, this chassis, let me tell you a little bit of story on this. I initially painted it black with the black primer like I did here. I did the whole thing in black. And then I remembered, wait a second, that's supposed to be body color too. And I shot the body color over it, and I missed some of it over here. I may have to go in and just kind of shoot at this angle. Thought I got it all covered, but apparently not. Anyway, yeah, let me go ahead and get that done while it's on my mind. Using the black primer underneath that iris paint, it kind of gives some black shadows to the chassis, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I need to get that. Okay, well, let's get started on the next steps, which will be the front suspension and chassis, put the engine in and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll be right back. Alright guys, I've got the engine set in place. It was kind of tricky to get the radiator in. Not so much to get it, there's two pins and they go in this lower part here. You can't see them, but they're hidden. The hardest part was getting that lower radiator hose into place, which you can't see in there, but it's basically right in this area here. Then had to get the steering knuckles in there. Now this does come, I'm assuming, it has the ability to have posable steering. I opted out of that and I glued these steering knuckles in place. But the long arm of the steering knuckle goes up on each side. You basically put it in here. Then when you put this piece on, it locks the other pin in here on each side. And then you have your torsion bar that goes here. There's holes in these locations, and then it just kind of sits down upon this kind of a cross member. So I have to go in and I have to touch up all the little spots with paint, but that's how it goes in. Make sure that when you put this together that you do these torsion bars, those go in, you kind of put those in first and then lay it in. Otherwise these are going to be in the wrong position and you're going to have to fight to get them back in the right spot. But as long as you put it in first and then lay it down in place, your attachment points are here, 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 back here, and up here for this piece here, that first piece that goes on. And then, like I said, your roll bar or torsion bar, whatever you want to call it, it goes over top all of that. So that's the engine cradle fully assembled, and yeah, it's good to go. I know I should have probably showed you that on the camera, and that's why I just fully explained it as best I could now, because I didn't film any of that. The only thing I would suggest, if you're having trouble, put a dab of glue on the pins on the tops of the steering knuckles. Get those in place first. Do one side at a time. If you do it all while the glue is still kind of setting, I don't recommend using a super glue in this situation, because the super glue will set up too fast and you have to manipulate this up and down to get these pins into the holes for the steering knuckles. So use your whatever glues that you're using. Of course, you guys know I use the tube glue, and that's got a little bit longer cure time, but it's only been a couple minutes, and it's pretty solid. So the tube glue works well. Alright, next step is to attach this to the chassis, which I'm not looking forward to, because mainly I don't know what I did with it. Alright, I'm going to pause the camera here. I'll be right back. Alright fellas, I remembered what I did with the chassis. While I was working on that cradle, or just before I went over there, just before I started working on that cradle, I took the chassis over to the paint booth and touched up the paint that I was missing. I'm going to have to let this set for a little while and cure, and because of that, I'm going to call it a night, and I'll pick up tomorrow right where I left off. See you in the morning. Alright fellas, it's the next day. I skipped ahead a little bit. I worked on this and got everything put together, and I think it's turning out pretty nice looking. I went through and picked out all of the emergency brake lines or parking brake lines, fuel lines, etc., and got everything put together. And I just took the clamps off of everything, and I happened to notice something, and I don't know if you guys are seeing this. Does that axle have an arc to it, or is that just an illusion? Let me see if I can get a little tighter on that shot. What do you think? Is that just an optical illusion, or does that actually have a bend to it? And with that being like that, that's going to cause the back tires to sit kind of wonky. And I don't have anything that's, you know, pressed together other than the drive shaft, and that's fully seated on the transmission and on the rear end. It's fully seated. So the drive shaft appears to be a little too long, maybe. I don't know. Everything's in its proper place. It's all in their alignment pinholes, and I have this bent rear axle. As you can see, it's in the proper mounting spots on the spring on each side. See? But it still has that arc to it. So I don't know if that's a design flaw or if I did something wrong. I'm starting to think it's a design flaw, because I put the axle on the springs, let that cure a little bit, and then put the springs into the chassis. And at the same time I put the springs into the chassis, I put the drive shaft in. So it's confusing me. I think that's a flaw. And nothing that I did. That's just the way it was designed. That drive shaft, I could pull it back apart, but it would be hard now because the glue is all cured. And I didn't notice that until I pulled it. Like I said, when I pulled the clamps off, that's when I started noticing it. So I guess I'm just stuck with it. But that might be something you want to test fit. I didn't test fit it. I normally do test fit, but I didn't this time, and well, this is the end result. Anyway, it's time to start on the interior. Oh my goodness. At least I've got that subframe on there really well, and I just used my normal tube glue. First time for everything. Alright, we have to build this interior, and it all builds off of this. So, and then we got the door panels here that I have to cut loose from the tree. I'm going to go through and detail paint everything and add some chrome highlights and etc., etc., etc. This is all spoilers and stuff. So, dashboard, that's what I'm looking for. And I got to go through and detail this all up. Now, because I painted this with that gloss black spray paint, this in here and around the gauges is supposed to be like a wood grain, and I might have a little trouble doing that with the black paint, but I'll figure it out. Let me get some detail painting done, and I'll be back. Alright fellas, I got everything dialed in, painted up, blah blah blah. And the decals for the gauges, I looked at them and they're very small, and those openings, I've never had success in getting the decals down in that style of an opening. So I just went ahead and used my silver pencil just to kind of highlight the gauge faces in there. I don't know if you're able to see those or not. Silver gel pen to do the chrome around there. Real brown acrylic paint. This here is how I do my wood grain. And of course I did it along the dash and the door panels, as well as the center of the steering wheel. So at this point we're ready to go ahead and start putting this together. Oop. The camera's right at head level, so I keep banging into it. Sorry about that. I do need to touch up the bottoms of the seats here where I cut it loose from the tree. That I use a black Sharpie. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. Now I know this looks a little light down here in the front. I think it's just camera angle, but I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, you're not going to see this once the seats are in anyway, but let's go ahead and touch it up. What the heck. Once the seats are glued in, you're not going to notice that anyway. You're not going to be able to see it. So, okay. Just wanted to kind of get a look at where the seats would sit. And clear away some of this paint. So that I can have a clean surface to glue the seats to. And it doesn't have to be precise, just need to kind of get it in the neighborhood. Unless you want it to be precise, I mean, you can do that, I suppose. Okay, let's take a look at that back seat, see how that sits. I think it's going to be kind of about the same. Yeah. That's the problem with just blasting it with paint. You have these surfaces that you need to keep clear, but if you try to mask it off prior to, it won't work. It'll become a bigger hassle than it's worth. Now let's take a look at these door panels as well while we're at it. Okay, it looks like it's going to be a straight line right across the edge there, so I'm going to go ahead and the beauty of doing it this way is anything that I mess up on, if I can see it, I can touch it up. If I can't see it, then, well, it doesn't exist. That's a kind of screwy philosophy, but there is some truth to it. Alright, let's test fit that one more time. See how much I have to... Oh yeah, that covers up pretty well. And on this side here too. Yeah, that covers up really well. Now I'm not sure at this moment how much this sets up against the seat, and if there's any glue points. Yeah, there are. Right just along this back edge here. And let's see how that sits in here one more time. Okay, it looks like there's a pin. Well, there's only a pin on this side, not on this side. Okay. Oh. Sorry guys, I keep bumping that camera. Let's test this in here. Alright, yeah. I have to clean this edge off right here. Be careful not to go up on the side. This edge here, so you have a clean surface to paint or glue to. And try not to slice your finger open while you're doing this. And that's all it needs. I hope you guys are able to see this. Camera angles are not my best thing, nor are they my favorite thing. I often mess those up. And if you follow my videos, you've seen it 100 times. Almost literally. Alright, gotta do this side here. Again, just that little edge right there. Ooh, I'm tempting fate here. It's a good thing this number 10 blade is old and dull. I use it for scraping and that kind of thing. I very rarely ever use it to cut. It's my little scraping tool. Now I think the dash will go in that little slot there. That little slot right there. So I'm going to take my number 11 there because it's got a finer tip. I'm going to go in there and kind of scrape it around, remove that paint. Same on this side. And then do the bottom. Now, scraping this paint away down here kind of serves a dual purpose. Not only are you cleaning up the surface for the paint or the glue to adhere, I keep saying paint, for the glue to adhere, you're also smoothing out any rough spots. Alright, I'm going to go quiet here. Let's get this put together. Alright fellas, as you can see, I got the interior put together. It's still wanting to come apart a little bit. The glue is still just tacky enough that it's kind of letting loose, but I'm going to put some rubber band or something around that and see if I can get it to hold together. And there we go. I think the tires and wheels are next. Not 100% certain. Let's take a look at that. Yes, I do loosely go by the instruction sheet. No, tires and wheels are not next, but I'm a long way from being ready for that step. So I guess we'll be going back to doing some body work. Still want to throw a clear coat on that, and let's just see where that goes. Okay, well, I'll be back in just a little bit. Alright fellas, got everything all set and done. I got the wheels and tires on. See the bottom there? Yeah, with the tires on, you can really see that bend, that bow in that axle. I don't know what's causing that. And in order to fix it, I would have to tear everything apart. I'm just not feeling like it. So it's just going to have some crooked tires. But there's the chassis is completed. The interior is completed. Let's head on over to the paint booth. We're going to see what we can do about this body. It's shiny, but it's not shiny. So let's take a look and see what we can do with it. See if we can get a little bit more shine on there by applying a clear coat. And once that's cured, we can go on and start putting the windows and the other stuff on the body. I also have to do some bare metal foil on there, and so we still got a ways to go, but we're getting there. So I'll see you at the paint booth. Alright fellas, I just finished polishing this body. I do have a few little messes in the paint, but we're just going to ignore those. This is the body after polishing. And I think it turned out, whoo, slippery. I think it turned out really, really well. So let's get on with the next step. And that step is, it's bare metal foil time. Alright guys, as usual, I'm just going to speed through this step. Now, I know you've seen me in the past. What I usually do is I take a rough measurement of the line that I want to cut for. In this case, this one here is roughly 2 1/8 of an inch. Set the body over here. Now, with the foil, what I usually do is I cut a strip roughly, well, I got one cut here already. It's roughly just a little over 1/16 of an inch wide. The 1/16 of an inch width on the foil will allow me to follow the line of the trim here, and also have enough that I can fold it over so that when you're looking at the body straight on, you can see the chrome there. Any other way you come up short, then you're gonna look, you can see the paint and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I recommend for that. Let's get this out of the way. Now I use an old t-shirt, and this is a real old t-shirt to do all of the polishing and I forget the term now. It was right there at the tip of my tongue. Basically burnishing it down and polishing it all at the same time. I also use a toothpick. Let me grab one out of here real quick. I use a toothpick for pushing it down into that line, and also kind of helping to smooth it over. That's a good handy tool to have. I also use my number 10 blade to help lift the foil off of the backing paper, and I use a new number 11 blade. Now this one's not new, but I do run it through a sharpener stone occasionally, and that keeps that tip nice and sharp, because once the tip gets dull, it starts tearing the foil while you're trying to trim and cut. So that's how you do it. Let's get started on this. Now I also go a little bit longer than what I need. I don't mind cutting off the excess and wasting it, but I don't like coming up short either. So when you come up short, then now you're cutting another piece, and you've wasted even a bigger piece than that little tiny bit you may have wasted. Oop, I forgot to take the hood off. Now, back in the 80s, I used to do a lot of car pinstripe tape, and that was back when it was popular. So that has taught me how to manipulate this around a curve like that. Back in the mid-80s, I bought a 1985 Cutlass Sierra. It was just a plain Jane car. It was kind of a dark blue metallic. I wouldn't say a sapphire, but it was a dark blue metallic. And one afternoon, I started on it with some white pinstripe tape. When I got it finished, every surface had pinstriping on it, and it actually looked good. If I can find a picture of that car, and I think I have one around here somewhere, if I can find a picture of that car, I'll post it up right about now. See, I kind of push that down in that curve right there. That helps me to see where the curve is, because the foil is down in the little the line for the trim there, and then it's easier to see to cut it. And sometimes it works better if you start in the center of the cut, center of the strip there, cut one way, and then come back and cut the other. Now you don't have to use a lot of pressure when you're cutting, because if you got a really sharp blade, it's going to cut very easily. This foil is not very thick, so alright, and then take the t-shirt, kind of burnish it back down, because you may have lifted the edge a little bit. And it also helps if you do this, you can see if you got it cut straight or not, if you miss something. Yeah, well, there's just a little bit right there that I didn't get for some reason. There we go. That's it. Okay. Let's get this finished up. Alright, fellas. I've got all the chrome done around the wheels, the windows. I even put little chrome pieces, well, I should say bare metal foil pieces, in where the side marker lights go, so when I paint those in here in a minute, they'll actually reflect. I did a chrome strip up around here, around the hood, so you can see that. And yeah, I just wish I didn't have those few blemishes in the paint, but they are what they are, and I'm just gonna leave them like that. I don't care. So otherwise it's a fantastic looking paint job. Okay, let's get on with the rest of it. We got to put the windows in and front and rear bumpers, and we're all set to go. I'll see you at the final. Happy New Year and welcome to the final on this 1971 Dodge Charger RT by AMT. Well guys, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but this one turned out way better than I thought it would. That Krylon Iris paint that I used on this build, well, I bought that can several months ago figuring one day I'll find a kit to use this on, and boy howdy, did that really turn out well on this body. I think I really hit this one out of the park. Now, I did put that color shifting mica pearl coat on there, and I think it really kicked the paint up to another level. The underhood features of this kit are next level with, you know, they included AC and heater hoses, the AC lines and heater hoses. The decals, well, the decals laid right down, no problems at all. They lined up perfectly, they laid down perfectly. Had no problems at all with those. Now, with all the praise that I just gave this kit, you might think that there wasn't a single bad thing about it. But there was one thing, and it kind of bothered me a little bit. And that one thing is the forward AC line that routes up over the radiator support wall. And I'll show you that in the stills at the end of the video. It wasn't recessed into that radiator support wall. The line wasn't flattened out in any way. So it just kind of rode up over the radiator support wall. And when you went to put the hood on, well, the hood didn't sit down flush on the driver's side. So what I had to do is take one of my small files and just cut a little bit of a groove in the radiator support wall so that AC line would fit down into that, and I got the hood to sit down flush. So you may want to do that when you go to build your Charger RT. I've given you the heads up on that now, so you know what to look for. It's on the driver's side, like right towards the edge, and like I said, I'll show you that in the still photos at the end of the video. Well, this build is done, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Share this video with your friends. All of this helps the YouTube algorithm to share my content. If you have any questions or comments, please write those in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to respond as soon as possible. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, or you can drop me a line at scaleautoguy@gmail.com. If you want more videos like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and the bell icon so that you'll be notified when I post new videos. Thanks for watching Scale Auto Guy's Workbench, and I'll see you on the next build.